Welcome back to another episode of Life Along the Streetcar in a collaboration with the Tucson Gallery, as we have the opportunity to feature some of the fabulous local artists we have here in Tucson and on display in the Tucson Gallery. All the information regarding their work can be found on the TucsonGallery.com, and past episodes of Life Along the Streetcar are available on lifealongthestreetcar.org. And we are excited to welcome in a fairly new artist to the gallery, Angela Soliz.
Hey, Tom. So excited to be here. Really grateful for the gallery and grateful to be here today.
Fantastic. Well, I want to talk about your art and a lot of your inspiration and where this explosion of color comes from. But I first need to know about you. Are you from Tucson? Like, how did you get here?
Yeah, I am from Tucson. I was born here. I love the desert. It's been my home for a long time. I graduated from the U of A. My family is first generation here. They're migrant farm workers. So my family's originally from Zacatecas in Mexico.
Okay.
I have family all over the West. Displacement happens with a migrant family. So I have tias and tios in New Mexico, Texas, Colorado, Arizona, California, Washington, even Hawaii.
So you always have a place to stay.
Always have a place to stay, a lot of travel, a lot of family. But I got to grow up here in the desert, and I've done a lot of traveling. I moved away for about a decade. I came back in 2018.
Where did you move?
I was in Phoenix. I was in the state of Maine, across the country. I've also traveled. I've lived and worked in Italy, in Australia.
Oh my goodness.
And I backpacked through Central America. So I've been through Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica.
Oh my goodness. So why Tucson? What is it here that draws you back?
What called me back was the desert. I needed a place to recenter. And the desert has always been a place that feels like home to me. There's something about the energy here. And for some reason, it feels a lot like the ocean does. There's an expansiveness here. There's a history here. And for me, there's a reminder here of just how big our world is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of life that thrives in the desert, even though most people don't think of a desert as teeming with life or vibrant. And it was just a place that I knew I could really center myself and come back to my roots and who I am.
Oh, I can relate to so much of what you said there. And when I moved here from the Midwest in the 90s, I looked at the desert and I thought everything was constantly dead. And then as you're here for a while, you realize that no, it's very vibrant, just in a different way than what I'm used to seeing. And then I'm just amazed
Absolutely.
at the ruggedness and the beauty then that comes from the desert, because it is such a harsh environment, and yet this color and beauty can just sort of bloom anywhere.
Yeah.
And sometimes I see things growing in concrete. Like we have some very determined vegetation out here in the desert.
Yes, resilience is it's in the DNA out here. And it is a very harsh climate. It's a climate of extremes.
Yeah.
And I think that creates so much beauty. Yeah, there's just nothing like the Sonoran Desert anywhere else in the world.
Well, speaking of DNA, art, is that in your DNA, or is this a recent discovery? Have you always been involved with art?
It is in my DNA. My abuela was an artist. There's lots of history of artists in my family, although no well-known artists. Nobody else ever had the opportunity to be in galleries, to show their work, to really focus on art. So I'm really, really grateful for this, and I feel my abuela with me when I paint.
Did you spend time with her? Like, did you?
I did. I got to know her as a child. She's where I first started to learn Spanish. She only spoke Spanish when I knew her. She learned English by playing Scrabble.
Okay.
So Scrabble is a game in our family, and she raised and had 14 kids go through high school and get high school diploma certificates. That was a huge accomplishment for her. But her artistic talent was was known as just as something that she could do, something special about her. And so from a very young age, I was called an artist. My family recognized something in me, something that took me over 20 years to recognize in myself. But art has just always been a language. I think I was speaking the language of color before I was speaking a verbal language. Color speaks to me in a way that is emotional and psychological. I love color.
Was your grandmother, was her work colorful in the way yours is, or was it more? What was her
That's a
style?
great question. She always did florals and botanicals,
Okay.
like I lean into. She usually used marker or pen, so her access to mediums was different than
Okay.
mine as well. And so I always knew there was this artistic ability in the family. Some of my tios are very artistic as well. And for me, though, growing up, it was a great trait to have, but in the family, it was not considered a viable career option or something real. It was important to get a degree that could take me places, find stability.
Yeah,
My
art's
family,
nice, but you got to get yourself a job.
that was the reigning thought growing up. Yes, and I did. My artistic career has been very full of twists and turns. I tried to follow that, but art is really the only thing that's ever worked for me. And when I finally decided to just fully own that and lean into it, is when things have really started to
And
come
when
together.
was that? When did you fully lean into it?
When I came back in 2018, I went full-time as a freelance and graphic designer,
Okay.
fully in the design world. And I was self-employed running a design studio for 8 years, did over 40 brands there. And it allowed me to start painting more consistently and really develop my artistic practice in a lot of ways. And I love graphic design. I think you can see how I use design in my paintings. I play with design principles a lot. Balance, scale, unity, harmony, contrast, proportion.
Oh, that's in your paintings?
These are
I just thought it were pretty colors. But your style, because and if you head over, if you're listening or watching, you can go over to TucsonGallery.com and look at some of your work there. But the style, it's very colorful. It's desert. You usually have like the moon or the sun or something in your work. Like there's always some celestial body in there.
yes.
And that reflects where you are right now. When you were in Maine, were you painting differently, or were you painting in Maine, or were you?
I was. I've always painted. It's just always, art has always been something I do with my free time. When I was in Maine, I leaned very heavily into desert flora and fauna. I think I missed the desert even out there.
So it wasn't just what was around you; it's really what was in your soul.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Celestial bodies. This idea that all things exist at once. Right now the sun is up for us. It's morning. Somewhere on Earth, it's the middle of the night. There is this reality, if we think about the bigger universe, where the moon and the sun are always existing at the same time. Summer and winter are always existing at the same time. Shadow and light are always existing at the same time. You need them both. You need that wholeness, and that's something that comes out in my work. The other thing is I'm an intuitive painter, so I don't plan my paintings. I start with a blank canvas, and I follow the colors, I follow the feelings, I follow the joy, I follow what my intuition is guiding me to do. It's a really fun process. It takes a lot of courage because you don't know where you're going to go with it.
Right.
And
do you have any sense? Because like some of yours focus on water or rain or thunder, and like do you go in there and say, okay, I kind of want to focus on the monsoon and that, or you just go and say, I got a blank, and what's the first step then? You just draw.
It's a great question. Yeah, I usually don't. When I go into the studio, it's really about, all right, let's see what happens today. It's a practice of getting into flow and curiosity and staying really deeply open-minded. The first step for me is always setting up. I start with a set of colors that are feeling good to me. And when I'm working with colors, I usually lay out a base that has some contrast built into the 5 or 6 that I choose to start with. So I'm assessing from the beginning, just do I have a variety that's going to work together? Are they going to speak to each other? And then I start with the brush that feels the most fun to use in that moment and the color that's speaking to me the most.
Wow.
And I'm asking myself, what feels good right now? Do I want to start with a giant stroke across the canvas? Do I want to start with a little corner? And it's a constant process of asking myself, what's next? What feels good? What would be interesting? What does it need? What is it calling for? And it's a really fun practice. It's very much I'm in my body and out of my mind in a sense.
And I might be wrong on this because I'm wrong on lots of things, but it seems like we're talking a lot about the universe, the world, the nature, but you don't have people in your work.
I don't do a lot of figurative stuff. I am classically trained. I can do figure drawing. I can do faces. They don't call to me that often to paint with people. I do animals. I do a lot of flora and fauna and mountains. Yeah.
Well, you are, for me, the exposure was when you got into the Tucson Gallery, but you've been doing this for a while, and the airing date of this will be somewhere in line with the documentary that's coming out about you. I mean, how does that happen?
I know, right? That was a wonderful opportunity that came through the Tucson Gallery. Such a synchronistic moment. Colin Hare is the producer of a documentary series called Inspiration Point. He traveled around the country and met with and interviewed artists that have significant connection to place and really wanted to explore how artists find inspiration from place and how they use that to feed their creativity. So he had reached out to the Tucson Gallery, and the Tucson Gallery connected me with Colin, and he ended up coming out here. I took him rock climbing out in Cochise Stronghold in the Dragoon Mountains, about an hour and a half south of Tucson. And we spent the day talking about inspiration and creativity. And it was a wonderful day. It was really fun. And so that is featured in episode 2 of his series that has just come out in March, and it's on YouTube, and it's getting some beautiful attention. All 6 artists that he talks to are really different and have really wonderful things to say. There's some beautiful things to learn about inspiration.
And is your episode out, or is it?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Oh, fantastic. So we can find that on YouTube and a little bit more about you in a different light.
Yes, you can.
Were you interviewed the whole time on a rock?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we did. So if you Google Inspiration Point and my name, Angela Soliz, it'll come right up, episode 2. We did do a 2-hour interview sitting on some rocks out in Cochise Stronghold.
Nice.
I also climbed some routes for him, and I set up a route, and he climbed, which he's afraid of heights. So that was a really
Good for
fun.
him.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dedication. Just so you know, James, I'm not climbing any mountains for our podcast. Just so you know. Well,
it's out there if you ever change your mind.
Are there any elevators? I'm good with elevators.
Fair.
No, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
But
yeah.
So you're connected, and now this documentary is out there. You're coming into a different stage in your career now, right?
I am. Moving through the design studio, starting to be a painter in my own name, and I've had 3 solo shows, which led to the connection with the Tucson Gallery, which has been wonderful, and starting to paint really consistently and shift into that space, and also get to talk about courage. For me, courage is something I've struggled with my whole life. I think it takes a lot of courage to be an artist, to own who you're meant to be in this world, to face the blank canvas, all of these things.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's where rock climbing comes in for me. Rock climbing has been a practice that has helped me cultivate courage. And now I'm getting to talk about painting and courage together. And that's been just one of the greatest gifts.
I'm wondering what's more daunting, looking at that first mountain face and trying to find the way up, or looking at the blank canvas and trying to find a way forward.
Oh my gosh. I mean, a tie. It's really a tie for me. Yes. And for me, there's very much a similarity and a parallel in those two things, 100%.
Well, certainly the Tucson Gallery has some of your art available, but how do people follow you, kind of keeping up to date with what's happening to you? Are you in the social media world? What are your handles? And
I am. I do an Instagram page, angelasoliz.co is where I put all the painting, all the climbing, all the design, all the teaching, all the speaking, whatever's happening for me. And I dip in and out of there. If I'm on a creative binge, I may be a little quiet on there for a couple of weeks, but then, I'll show you what I've been up to. So.
And do you have a website that you have personally?
Excuse me.
That's okay. It's
spring in Tucson, these allergies.
That's part of the nature, right?
It is. The wonderful joy. My website is angelasoliz.co. The design studio is under a different website. That's gelaroad.com, GELA road.com. For those of you that are interested, I do that very sporadically these days. But for the painting and for everything else.
Okay, I'm out of time here, but what's Jella Road? What does that mean?
Angela, Jella.
Oh, all right. See, I was never mind. I was I was going down like some location, like this is a special place, but yeah. See, I don't think very, very quickly on the fly. Well, we'll make sure people can link to those, and we'll put some information out, of course, about the podcast or about the documentary. Looking forward to seeing that. I wasn't sure if it was out, but I purposely didn't go look for it because I didn't want to have too much information about you in advance. I like learning through this process. For me, this is my blank canvas. I really like to start a show with knowing very little about the guest, enough to get the conversation started and seeing where it's going. And I really appreciate you taking the time today. This is in a 15-minute conversation. I've learned so much about you, and I'm excited to learn more.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Tom. It's been a real pleasure today.
Oh, thanks. We are with Angela Soliz, part of the Tucson Gallery Meet the Artist series, collaboration we do here with Life Along the Streetcar. And again, if you want more information on Angela, the gallery, head over to the Tucsongallery.com. Work is available for viewing and for purchase, both originals and reproductions through the gallery. Life Along the Streetcar happens every week, and we talk about the social, cultural, and economic impacts in Tucson's urban core, focus on A Mountain, the University of Arizona, and we are lucky each week to have the privilege of using Ryan Hood's music, Dillinger Days, to begin and end our podcast. James Portis is our executive producer, and I looked it up. Executive producer means does everything. So James is amazing. We don't have a show without him, so thankful for him. Probably need to get him on the show at some point and have him sit on this side of the camera so you can see him. My name, of course, is Tom. I'm your host. I appreciate your time today, and I hope you tune in each week for more episodes of Life Along the Streetcar. And until next time, stay curious, Tucson.